Hey guys, Animortis here. Alright, today I'm going to be showing you an updated version of how to install Ubuntu from the command line via Shroot and Debootstrap. This is going to replace my video I made last year for 2110. This will be the 2210 video. There have been some things that I have discovered since the last time I did that video, even since my Jammy video, which came out a few months ago, and I wanted to provide an update with a complete walkthrough in just the most basic format. This is going to be ext4, EFI, basic stuff. The installation process is going to change because I found how to get around two big issues that we experienced when treating the Ubuntu install the same as a Debian install, specifically the lack of a command line and the need for a graphical environment. And then number two, the need for the Netplan configuration. I discovered the Netplan tool, and I'm going to show you how to implement it so you get actual accurate Linux configuration. So why don't we go ahead and get started? Now, as you can see, as compared to my previous videos, we are going to be using the this is the server edition installed CD. This is because the desktop edition, even though I like live CDs because they allow you easier access to the web and to things like a command line that you can copy and paste into, the server version for Ubuntu allows you to install the OS without needing a graphical environment. This gets you around of a lot of the issues that we experience in that we've experienced in Ubuntu in the past. So to start with, you could run through. You can do it'll do a pretty standard server installation for you. And I'll note too, if you're running off of a live CD, it's going to run a check, and that check can take a little bit. I think this is just because, yeah, this is supposed to be a critical server install, and they're going to want to minimize the amount of issues someone might experience with it. So when you land on this splash page, don't choose English, don't choose anything. Go up to Help, hit Enter, and then scroll down, and you can see there's an Enter shell. So now we're at a shell environment, and we can start now, as we do in every single version of these, as we have done in the past. Well, you can't see my mouse. Good. Okay. We are going to start by doing an apt update. We're not going to upgrade anything. And then we're going to do an lsblk to look at all of our drives. As compared to a Debian or an install on any other operating system, you're going to see that there's all these loopback devices. I believe this is from Snap. Ignore them. Those are not important. What's important, right, is this SDA right here. That is our hard drive. As you can see, it's 120 gigs. It says disk on it. That's important. So we begin with our usual fdisk dev SDA. Then we'll just G to make it a GPT disk. N. We're going to make our EFI partition. It defaults for 1 and first sector, then last sector plus 512M for 512 megs, then T, and 1 to change it to an EFI system type. Then we just needed our hard disk or our root partition, which just defaults all the way down on that for 2, and then W to write. And then when we do our lsblk, as you can see, SDA now has 2 partitions on it. So then we're going to make the file system for both. We'll make a vfat for dev SDA1, since that is our EFI. EFI always has to be vfat, or I think FAT32 specifically, but vfat's faster to type. And then make file system ext4 dev SDA2. And then that's real quick. So we have our default ext4. If you want to do butterfuss or anything like that, we have plenty of other videos that you can walk through. The configuration for that is the same all the way down to the Debootstrap component. So now we'll do an apt install Debootstrap. And then we need to mount our drive. So lsblk, again, just to kind of look at everything. Dev SDA2 goes to MNT. we're going to do a make dir boot and then mount dev sda1 to mnt boot. Oop, that is not there's no slash needed there. You'll note I did not do an EFI directory. We're going to be telling Ubuntu to use that one specifically. This is just to kind of streamline the process for the future, and it works out the same, but there is an extra step later. Now we need to debootstrap our system, kinetic, into MNT, and we'll just let this run. Takes a few minutes. Get yourself comfortable, but you've seen this 100 times if you watch my other videos. Okay, now we're going to copy our app sources list to our host machines, cpt apt etc sources.list to mnt etc apt sources.list, and then we just need to edit that so that way it does not refer to the CD-ROM. So we're going to go down dd and delete the CD-ROM reference, then Shift-ZZ to save. Then we'll clear again. Okay, now we do our usual for d in sys dev proc do mount rbind $d make our slave, if you remember that, and then we do our copy our resolve.conf, and now it's time to shroot into our computer. And then we'll clear, because we're in a new environment. Okay, now that we're shrooted into our new system, we need to do an apt update just to make sure we have some app lists. There are some upgrades, so we'll go ahead and upgrade. Don't want to have anything out of date. I mean, we can fix it later, it's not a big deal, but. And then we need to do set up our locales. I don't like dpackage reconfigure locales anymore because I feel like it's slow, so we're going to go vi etc locales.gen, except I'm in the wrong file. Vi etc locale.gen, no S. I will hit slash to search, and then I'm an English speaker, so we'll go EN US, and then we move down to EN US UTF-8. I use my mouse to kind of highlight where that is. It's right here. That's for us US English speakers. Hit X twice to remove the comment on that. Shift-ZZ to save after hitting escape. And then we do localgen. And now we have our locales generated a little faster than searching a whole list, at least for me. Set our root password. Then we need to make sure that grub will install based on how I set up my boot partitions. If you recall, again, lsblk boot has been put here instead of /EFI like in our other videos. We need to tell Ubuntu to not care that it's on a vfat partition. So that means we go into vi etc, and this is going to be a new file, kernel-img.conf, and we'll hit I to insert, do symlinks, s equals no, and then no symlinks equals yes. I don't know why it has to articulate that way, but that's important. Then we'll clear. And now we're going to install the kernel and microcode. Linux image generic network manager for internet. If we had I don't have an Intel processor, but it would be Intel micro code, and then not micro code, crow code, and then Vim. Vim is going to be important later when we're setting up FS tab in this purely command line environment. Hit enter to continue. This will take a little bit. As you can see, it has about 500 megs to get and a lot of stuff to install. And we'll just hit enter and go crazy. Okay, that's clear. Here is the important part. This is going to be a little trickier because we don't have access to an easy copy paste. So I'm going to use some Vim commands to kind of handle this. If you're better with a different editor, go nuts. But what we're going to do first, we need to do proc mouse to etc fs tab. Then we want to put the output of what our UUID is to the end of fs tab so we can move it around. As you can see from lsblk, bringing our mouse back down, SDA1 and 2 are here, and we want to do a BLK ID and to get out our UUIDs for everything, and then we're going to have a grep to search the result, and then we're going to do SDA, and we'll put it at the double caret to make sure it appends to etc fs tab. Now we're going to go in and edit fs tab. We want to use Vim, not VI. It has a little bit more capabilities, and as you can see here, looking a lot different than what you're used to. Let's start by getting rid of the extraneous stuff. So that's everything that isn't tempfs below the dev. Okay. Now for tempfs, we're going to delete its directory and change it to /tmp. We're going to get rid of these here. We're going to leave these devs below because that's our input from BLKID. I'm going to hit escape, and then I'm going to do a :W to save so we don't lose our work. Now we're going to go down to this, and I want to delete. This is tricky, so I apologize, but this is the best way. Delete everything before. Go to get to UUID. Get rid of the quotation marks with X. And then we need to get rid of everything else in this line. So just hold down X. If there's a better key, Vim is always something you learn. Now we're going to take this, we're going to hit YY, move up to our first line. We're going to hit Shift P to paste it in front of this dev FDA2. We're going to get rid of this dev all the way down there. We're going to go to the end of this line. We're going to hit I, no better. Going to go to the end, hit A. We're going to hit our delete key, and that pulls it up to the next line. Then, because that was kind of complicated, escape, :W to save again. Then we're just going to do this down here. So, YY. We're going to go up to dev SDA1, Shift P to paste, and same deal. Delete this dev line to UUID. Get rid of the quotation. Get rid of the quotation. Delete everything else on the rest of the line. Hit escape. Hit A. Delete to pull that up. Get rid of this dev right here. And that's it. We can go and delete these old references down here from the output from BLKID. Hit escape, hit Shift, ZZ to save. And then if we do a output of fs tab, as you can see, we have a properly configured fs tab entirely within the command line. Whew. Things get a lot smoother from here, I promise. We're almost done. Now we need to do hostname. Alright, hit DD, delete that, insert. Just go into there, hit escape, Shift ZZ. Then we'll go VI, ECC, that was hostname. Now we'll do hosts. Delete all references to localhost. Put in the same name you used before. I do recommend finding a Vim keyboard shortcut guide. It's really handy. And Vim is so ubiquitous. And Shift ZZ after hitting escape to save. Okay, now we'll just need to set our time zone. Dpackage reconfigure TZ data. Can't you tell I'm getting tired too? and we just pick our time zone. And that's it. We have got the basic stuff. So I'm going to just go ahead and clear, and then we'll get to grub. Then we're going to apt install grub EFI AMD64. Tell it yes. This only takes a moment. Then we need to install grub. This is a little longer process than in my previous videos because we have to tell it exactly where to install. So do grub install --target equals x86 64-EFI EFI directory equals /boot. And then a bootloader ID equals, let's just go with Ubuntu and hit enter. And then we'll do an update grub to make sure that we actually have a grub bootloader. And then we install system, we installed network manager, so let's enable that. Now we have one more step. This is unique to Ubuntu. This manages the Netplan system. We need to update and have rules set up for Netplan. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to do another VI. Let's do a vim, why not? etc netplan. And then we're going to make a new file called networkmanager.yaml. And then we need just 3 lines here. First, network : enter. It's going to tabulate. We're going to go version 2. And then renderer network manager. Hit escape, Shift-CZ, and that's there. Then netplan generate. I messed up. Plan. And netplan apply. Oh, we don't need to run these commands. So once we have that made, we'll clear. Once we have that made, we'll clear, and then that's it. Exit. Umount. Just to unmount everything. Now we're going to reboot into our new computer system. That was quick, right? Well, here we are. We have fully functional Ubuntu operating system ready for desktop experience. If you remember from my other Ubuntu videos, we had to have a desktop already set up, and it was really janky. That is no longer a problem here. We have an actual desktop already configured with full command line access, just like Debian. We're good to go. We can ping. We got networking. And, yeah, I don't know what else to say. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to get you to a desktop. So we're going to apt install. This was not a package that was available before when you were when I did my first video. They didn't have a minimal desktop, but you can now install an Ubuntu desktop minimal. Let me make sure I got the name right. Yep, there it is. So we're just apt install, and this works for Jammy too. Top minimal. We'll let that. So that's about 500 megs, 2 gigs to install. Just gonna give this a bit. Okay, having installed GNOME, we need to add a user. So we're gonna do a user add mg. M means to modify, group, sudo for the group it's going to be in, and then there's my user. All right. As you can see, I had to play around with this a little bit, but you're not going to get these messages. Even if you do, it doesn't matter. Then we need to add a password for my user. Password. And then we're going to exit. We're going to log into that user. And then we just need to do a sudo. Getting some interesting messages here. We're going to do a sudo system control enable now GDM. And this is going to launch GNOME. You're going to need to reboot at some point just because there's a lot of different drivers and things that need to be ran. But this will get things up and running. And here we are. We're now logged into our Ubuntu desktop, fully configured and matching the capabilities of a Debian system, at least from the command line. So, you know, it's just going to give you this stuff because this is a standard Ubuntu desktop. I can change this so it's, well, yeah, let's change this. Display settings. Get this to something you guys can actually not want to, something that's not going to hurt your eyes. Okay, and there you have it. One Ubuntu desktop all ready to go. So I hope you enjoyed this guide. You know, it looks like on the minimal install they added Firefox, which was not a thing a couple weeks ago. But that's the only snap I would argue you really need. If you want to use Flatpaks or something else, feel free. Otherwise, you know, thanks guys for watching. I do now have a Mastodon account that I will be posting updates to, so I don't have to make any more silly update videos. But, you know, feel free to follow me there. And, you know, I do this for fun. It's not for money or anything. So, and to inform people better for this stuff, because frankly, no one else seemed to be doing it. Thanks for watching.